Fundamentals of Chinese 3, Unit 13, Seeing a Doctor. My stomach is killing me. Grammar it. Please turn to pages 139 to 144 in your textbook. Have a pen or pencil ready to take notes. Okay, first in the dialogue, this unit, we saw the use of 死, which means to die or death, to be used together with an adjective to indicate an extreme degree of something. Okay, so we have several examples here. The first one is it's extremely painful to get a shot. 打针is get a shot. 打针疼死了. Okay, next example. I'm starving to death. I'm starving. 我饿死了. 我饿死了. So in both these instances we have an adjective, as in 疼 or 饿, and then after the adjective you have 死 showing an extreme degree, that adjective to an extreme degree. Another example here. It's awfully hot today. 今天热死了. 今天热死了. It's hot to death. It's awfully hot. So you have the adjective 热 and 死 following right after it. Now, you may have noticed that in the three examples above, all those adjectives, the three adjectives above, had a negative connotation. But you may also see 死 used in a positive context. For example, 知道了这件事，他高兴死了. Okay, he was happy to death, or tickled pink as I translated it here, happy to death when he learned about this news. Okay, but in most situations, you wouldn't see this in the positive context, and so they get just a couple examples here. For example, 那件衣服漂亮死了. They want to say it's pretty to death. 他跟他的女朋友好死了. He's really good with him and his new girlfriend, or him and his girlfriend get along really great. You wouldn't see 死 being used together with 好 in this way. Again, this is one of those instances where you've seen 疼死了, you've seen 饿死了, you've seen 高兴死了. So you know that with these adjectives you can use this. And then it's best, not to experiment with adjectives on your own, as you're likely to be incorrect. But when you hear a Chinese person use this with a new adjective that you hadn't heard it used with before, well, then you can add that to your list of adjectives that it's okay to use 死 with. Okay, next on page 140, we have times of action. Okay, so you've heard a lot of ways of saying the word time. In English, we use the word time, but in Chinese, for example, you've seen 时间, right, for or for time. You've seen 几点 for what time is it, etc. So you have these different words being used, where in English the word times takes care of it all. Well, you saw another word in this dialogue, 次, okay, and 次 also means time or times, but this is the character that's used when you're indicating how many times something has happened. Okay, I've seen that movie twice, for example. You can't say I've seen that movie 两个时间. Right? 时间 is it means time, but in a different context. You can't say I've seen that movie 两点. Right? 点 is used when you're asking what time is it? 几点, right? Okay. If you want to talk about something happening once, twice, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. I've seen the movie several times, and so on. 次 is the word that you want to use. Okay, so let's see some examples. Okay, 上午我打了2次电话。上午我打了2次电话。I made 2 phone calls this morning. Okay, now also take a look at this word order because it's quite different than English. This morning, and if you consider 打电话 to mean make a phone call, 打电话, then you have make. So this morning I made 2 times phone call. Okay, so the word or the sentence constructed a little bit differently than it would be in English. 上午我打了2次电话。In our next example, 昨天我吃了3次药。I took the medicine 3 times yesterday. 昨天 yesterday 我吃了 I ate 3次 3 times 药 medicine. 昨天我吃了3次药。Okay, here's some more clarification on the placement of 次. So they're saying if the object is not a person or a place, okay, then the 次 should be placed between the verb and the object. If the object represents a person, does represent a person or a place, then 次 can go either between the verb and the object, like up here, or after the object. Okay, so let's just take a look at some examples. I know reading this kind of grammar stuff is confusing, but it should become clear once we look at the examples. 去年我去了1次中国，你呢? Okay, so last year I went once to China. How about you? 去年我去了中国2次. Okay, so here we have the 2次 going after the object. Okay, and it's because if the object represents a person or a place, it can go either between the verb and the object or after the object. So the object here is 中国. Okay, and 中国 is a place, so 2次 can go after 中国. You could also say 去年我去了2次中国, so it could also go between the verb and the object. Okay, when it's not a person or a place, it has to go between the verb and the object. So let's see if they show us an example of that. 昨天我找了3次王医生. Okay, so yesterday I looked for Dr. Wang 3 times yesterday. 昨天我找了3次王医生. Now, because Wang Yisheng is a person, you could also say 昨天我找了王医生3次. Okay, 是吗？昨天我也找了王医生3次. Okay, so they gave an example of that by putting 3次 at the end. So here, 3次 is between the verb and the object, and here it's after the object. Okay, here's one of those examples where it has to come between the verb and the object. Okay, so if the object is a personal pronoun, however, 次 must follow the object. So let's take a look. 我昨天找了他2次，他都不在。Okay, 昨天我找了他2次，他都不在。I mean, follow the object, not in between. So you see, you could not say 我昨天找了2次他. You can't say that. You cannot say 昨天我找了2次他. Okay, because it's a personal pronoun, 次 must follow the object. The object is 他, and so 次 follows it behind it. Okay. 变 is another measure word for occurrences of actions, but it pertains to the entire course of the action from the beginning to the end. Okay, so let's take a look at this. 请你念一遍课文. Please read the text from the beginning to the end once. Okay, so reading the text is a whole process, and so instead of saying read the text 一次, it's read the text 一遍. Okay, and then they have another example here. Nouns denoting body parts involved in the actions can also sometimes serve as measure words for occurrences of actions. One example is from Dialogue 1 of the current lesson, where it says, 昨天晚上我吃了几口. Okay, I had a few mouthfuls last night. Okay. So you have 口 is the measure word. I had a few bites last night. I ate a few bites of cake last night. Okay. Next. Alright. We saw 起来 as a way to indicate the beginning of an action. So 起来 can indicate the moment when something, in this case here it says, when something static becomes dynamic. That is, it signifies the beginning of an action or a state. Okay? 疼起来了. You remember in the dialogue, 疼起来. It means that the stomach started to hurt. Okay, so 起来 together with 疼, hurt, means start to hurt. So let's look at this example. 我们一见面就聊了起来. Okay, 我们一见面就聊了起来. We began chatting as soon as we met. Right? So we, e, being used here as soon as, you've learned this before. We, as soon as we met, 见面, as soon as meeting, as soon as we met, 一见面就聊了 chat 起来. Remember, 聊天 means to chat, 聊了起来. Okay, began chatting. The other example here, 他一回家就写起信来. 他一回家就写起信来. Okay, so you know, 写信 means to write a letter. So 写 is the verb, 信 is the object noun, the noun which is the object of the verb here. 写信, write a letter. So this 起 comes right after the verb 写, 写起信来. Okay, so we separated 起来 and put the object in between it. So he began to write a letter as soon as he got home. 他一回家就写起信来. 下了课以后，学生们打起球来. The students began to play ball as soon as class was over. Okay, and they made a note here. Note that the object is placed between 起 and 来 rather than after 起来. Okay, so you couldn't really say 学生们打起来球. They wouldn't say 打起来球. They would say 打起球来. Okay, a little complicated there. It takes some getting used to. The key is that when you're reading or hearing this stuff, you can understand. It takes a while to be able to naturally produce this when you're speaking or writing. All right, here's something that is a little complicated or difficult, awkward maybe with Chinese grammar, because it's something that we don't need in English. It's not necessary to have this in English, so it seems like something extra. But it's quite often used. So let's take a look at it. It's the use of 把. Okay, this character is 把 in sentences with ba are common in Chinese. The basic construction is as follows. Okay, so you have a subject, uh, and then you have ba. Okay, then you have an object, right, and then you have a verb or some other complement or element, and then a le. Okay, so for example, you could have 他把饭吃完了. Okay, so 他 is the subject, 把, okay, 饭 is the object. So she ate the food. So in English you would have she ate the food, right? Subject, verb, object. She ate the food. Okay, subject, verb, object. But instead you put the object before the verb with ba. So she 把 food ate. 他把饭吃完了. Okay, so that's my own example. Let's take a look at it. Says in the ba construction, what follows the position ba and precedes the verb, okay, serves as both the object of ba and the object of the verb. In general, a sentence in the ba construction highlights the subject's disposal of or impact upon the object, with the result of the disposal or impact indicated by the element following the verb. So that's a bunch of grammar jargon that's no fun to read. So let's just go straight into these examples and it will become more clear. Okay, so here we're trying to say, I have found the books that you wanted. Okay, 我把你要的书找到了。我把你要的书找到了。I 把 you want books found them. Okay, so in one, the subject 我 exerts an impact on the book through the action of 找, of which 到 is the result. Okay, 我把你要的书找到了. I found the books you wanted. Okay, that's a little awkward. And I found that when I was studying Chinese and I came across awkward constructions like this, I found that just repeating it, like 100 times, maybe 200 times, just repeating it over and over again until it didn't feel awkward anymore. It felt normal. All right. And another thing that helped it is to swap out words. So I have found the books you wanted. I have found the telephone that you wanted. I found the clothes you wanted. I found the shoes you wanted. I found the shirt you wanted. So just keep substituting. 我把你要的书找到了。我把你要的衣服找到了。我把你要的汽车找到了. Just keep swapping it out so that your brain gets used to the new way of grammatically expressing something. Let's take a look at another example. 你把这个字写错了. Okay, you wrote this character incorrectly. You took this character and wrote it incorrectly. That's kind of the way, in my mind, I almost look at ba. Ba does not mean take. It does not mean that. But in my own mind, to help me understand these ba sentences, I kind of look at ba as almost meaning to take something. You took this and did this with it. You took this and did that with it. You took this book and found it. You took this character and wrote it incorrectly. Okay? That's one crutch that I used with English to help me make more sense of what was actually happening here. So, 你把这个字写错了. You took this character and wrote it incorrectly. Okay? You wrote this character incorrectly, of course, is the best way to say it. So in 2, 你 exerts an impact on the character through the action of writing, of which 错 is the result. Okay. I dropped my father-in-law off at the airport yesterday, and I have a 2-year-old son, and my father-in-law is going to miss his grandson quite a bit. And so one of the last things he said to me before we said goodbye and he got on the plane, he said to me, he said, 把娃看好，把娃看好. So 娃 means child. It's a colloquial way that it's a colloquial word for child. 把, so this 把 right here, 把娃看好. 看孩子 means to take care of a child or watch a child, to take care of a child. 好 together with 看 means to do it well, do a good job at it. 把娃看好, be sure to take good care of the child. 把娃看好. Here's another example. 请把那条裤子给我. Please pass me that pair of pants. 请把那条裤子给我. Would you take a look at this text? 你把这篇课文看看. Look at this text. Finish up this cup of coffee. 把这杯咖啡喝了. 把这杯咖啡喝了. Take this cup of coffee and drink it. Finish it. 了 means to drink it, till it's done. 你怎么把女朋友的生日忘了? How did you forget your girlfriend's birthday? 你 you how take your girlfriend's birthday and forget it. 你怎么把女朋友的生日忘了? In the ba construction, the object is often something already known to both the speaker and the listener. For example, 你要的书, alright, 这个字, 那条裤子, and 女朋友生日. These are all things that are already known. Compare the following two sentences, okay? Give us an example. Okay, here we have 老王给了小张一些钱. 老王给了小张一些钱. Okay, so old Wang gave little Zhang some money. Okay, it's just stating a fact. Okay, 老王把钱给小张了. 老王把钱给小张了. Okay, old Wang gave the money to the little Zhang. Same sentence. I mean, it's same meaning. But in 7, up above, the object in some money is unspecified. Okay, he just gave him some money. He's just stating a fact that, oh, he gave him some money. Okay, but in number 8, the speaker expects the listener to know what money is being referred to. Maybe it was the money that he owed him. Maybe it was the money that he found on the floor that he lost. It's the money that his mother gave him to give to him. It's not just money or some money. It's a specific thing of money. All right, and so because the speaker knows what money is being talked about, then this ba is used, the ba construction. If the subject of a sentence is given, the object is something known to both the speaker and the listener, and the verb is followed by a complement in the form of a prepositional phrase with zai or dao, that sentence must appear in the ba construction. Okay, so here's an example of where it's required. So we take a look here. 你把笔放在桌子上. Alright, so this particular sentence, put the pen on the desk, there's no other way to say this, really. You need 把. 你把笔放在桌子上. 请你把这封信送到律师的办公室. Hey, please deliver this letter to the attorney's office. This is the only way you can really express this meaning. Here are some examples of incorrect sentences. 你放笔在桌子上. You put the pen on the table. This is grammatically incorrect. 你放笔放在桌子上. 你放笔在桌子上. Alright, that's incorrect. The only way you can say this is 你把笔放在桌子上. 请你送这封信到律师的办公室. This likewise is incorrect. It's must be 请你把这封信送到律师的办公室. And that concludes this grammar video.